Merry Christmas, TrueFire. I hope you enjoyed my rendition of Silent Night, written by a fellow Austrian, Franz Xaver Gruber. And I hope you enjoyed it. And I would like to show you how to play it. I played it on the 6th string. The only reason why I did that is because that bass is set up specifically for these kind of solo bass situations, tad thinner strings, and a bit of a lower action. It just makes those tapping notes speak a little better. But don't run out, get new strings. Don't worry about changing your setup. It can perfectly well be done on a regular bass that's, set up for grooving. So no worries there. That was, in a matter of fact, I think one note that I played on the high C and one that I played on the low B. And so we will fit those in, not to worry. And I have also included a really simple version of this song. If you have never done any kind of solo bass, maybe are new to the instrument, then you can still surprise your family by playing a solo bass rendition of the song. I will include that afterwards. There's a PDF that you can use to follow along, and you can also, since it's a video, make use of the fact that you can stop, rewind, slow down the video. There's a little gear icon on the bottom there, and you can slow down the video. All right, let's get started with the intro. So the intro is basically a little melody that I composed that contains notes out of the D major scale starting on an A with a downward motion. And to contrast that, there is a bass line underneath it that has an upward motion. And in all that while, this guy in the middle is holding down the fourth. So this starts out with a first inversion D major triad. So F sharp, D, A. Then the bottom first finger goes up a half a step to the G. Then here I'm going up a half a step. Now this makes it an implied E7-9 chord. See if I hit that E down there. And you can hear it, but this is just basically a G sharp minor 7 flat 5. So that's that. And then this, we really want this to resolve. And it doesn't resolve quite yet. It goes to a sus chord first. I'm here on E, A, D, all straight across, and then that resolves. Okay, one more time. So starting out with the F sharp, D, A. These two, the F. Once the melody starts, we're going back to this open G, D, A chord. So these are stacked fifths, G, D, A, a G9, if you will, but it doesn't really have a third, so G add 9. And what's important on this one is the melody starts with the downbeat. The intro started with the lowest note. Now here we have to play them all at the same time because the melody starts on the downbeat. So tap the B, let go. If you can, lightly when you let go, lightly touch that D here. It's a nice effect. And then when you repeat that phrase, the melody phrase repeats there, I'm going down a half step with my first finger to bring that F sharp in again. So we have this first inversion. The first part of the melody in close-up. And then at the very end, I want to go up chromatically as if I'm approaching the A, but then I'm approaching the low A. Let's go to the next section. So the last two notes right before that are leading up to that A, but we're not playing it up here, we're playing it open. So hit that with your thumb and then is up here a C sharp and E, and A and C sharp. And then that's a G major triad in first inversion, so starting B, G, and D. And that's an F sharp minor 7. F sharp, E, A, straight across. So. Let's do that again in close-up. Straight across. Next section, we are playing a G major triad in open voicing. So that's a G, a D, and a B. And this phrase repeats in the melody. So I do it differently each time for variety. So in this first version, I'm playing a G major triad in open voicing, G, D, and B. And then I'm going up here, which is a B minor voice, B minor open voicing, B, F sharp, and D. So this one is barring all the way across. And then I'm just playing the A as a 10th and the G as a 10th, right? These are both major. So you can open up your hand and just, you know, go across this way. It's since it's major, it's a cross plus a fret if you want to think of it that way. And then I go back to my F sharp minor 7. And then I like doing the D major 6 here, which is a D, an F sharp, a B, that's that 6 or 13, and then an F sharp again on top. That one is tricky to finger. You have a super hard time fingering that, then do just the tenths. That's just the outer notes of this open voicing chord. So it's a G and a B. Whenever a tenth is major, it's straight across plus a fret. Whenever it's minor, it's straight across. That one is straight across. And then the A is again major. And then back to that F sharp minor. And then down here, D major 6. Let's do that in close-up. It's G, D, and B. That is the B minor. You can leave out this F sharp if you want to, B to D. And here it's the F sharp. And then just tenths, A to C sharp, G to B, and the F sharp minor again with the root, the minor 7, and the flat 3. D major 6, D, F sharp, B, and another F sharp. This melody section repeats, and to give it a different flavor, I used a different technique. I'm not moving with almost every single melody note to chord it out, but I just use a chord that stays put. And then go back to the F sharp minor. And then here, play a different kind of D. So what's, I think, nicely making that sound differently here is that E. So you could either interpret that as a first inversion of a E minor triad, the G, E, and B, or you could just sort of think of it as a G major 13 with that major 6 in there. And no moving, just stay there. And then it goes again to the F sharp minor. And here I'm just playing an open D. D, A, D, F sharp. When you played the earlier section, you had to finger the first chord of this section like this, with the first finger, the third here, and the second finger here on the B. Now we're completely reshuffling the deck, so the second finger is here on the G, first on the E, and the pinky on the B. And this is a really big stretch. I have very small hands, so I have to compensate all sorts of ways. My aim is to keep my hand as relaxed as I can and to not squeeze the neck, so my thumb is very relaxed. That's important. Then F sharp minor 7 again. And then the D, A, D, F sharp right here. For the next section, I want to start out with showing you just the melody. The melody is done with all harmonics. If you've never done harmonics, a harmonic is created by lightly hovering above the fret or a little bit below, depending on which harmonic it is. These harmonics we're going to do only happen between the 3rd and the 5th fret. And if you know harmonics, then you know that there is no resemblance between what the harmonic does and what the fretted notes do, right? So these go up in a triad and these go down in half steps. But here's how this works. So we start out with, this is an E in terms of harmonics, 3rd fret on the A. And we go into this G here, 5th fret on the G. Back to where we were. And the C sharp here on the 4th fret of the A. And then the 5th fret on the D. And then you could hit the next note the melody needs is an F sharp, so you could hit that F sharp here. But what I do instead is I make that little variation. Just going up here and just hammering on, playing the F sharp and hammering on those 2 other notes. What makes this section a little bit tricky is that I want to get this A, which is the harmony, I want to get this A in there. And then let it ring at least for the first note of the melody here. And then the last part of the melody, I use pinch harmonics. What's tricky about those is that you have to find the right spot to pinch, so to speak. Just very lightly touching the string with my thumb. The location is crucial, so you have to experiment a little bit. Sometimes it won't speak. Sometimes you'll get the wrong harmonic. So here's the fifth, here's the root. So I'm fingering the D here in addition, and then just go like this. You can pinch using your pointer, or you can use your thumb. And then so from the D to the A to the F sharp, and when you go to the F sharp, you have to move your right hand, but it's about the same distance as the left, so that the pinch is in the right place. And then we're going back to the F sharp minor 7. The last part of the song brings it full circle by giving a nod to the intro, and we're coming out of this, and then I go into this intro part again. Just that I don't go to the diminished and to the A, which would open it up. It's the dominant, but I'm going home, so I'm reshuffling the deck. A, D, F sharp. That's D major trident second inversion. For the last part, we need to return to the D, and I'll do it with harmonics. So F sharp, D, E, B. And then if you have a 5 string, hit that D and the low D in octave. I like to do that as a nice fat ending tone, you know. Softly, but there it is. So in terms of frets, it's on the D string 4 and 5, and then 3 and 3 on the 2 lower strings, and then the good old. Now Santa's probably still trying to figure out what to get you for Christmas, and I highly recommend you put this on your wish list. Pentatonic Playground for Bass, my course with TrueFire. And also this looks beautiful under a Christmas tree. Music Theory for the Bass Player. This book comes with 89 videos, and I also created a course that's called Music Theory for the Bass Player that coaches you through the book and beyond. This is all about bass technique as well as music theory on the bass fretboard. I wish you all happy holidays. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial of my version of Silent Night. And I promised you earlier that I will have a really accessible version of this song as well for you. So here it comes. So if you have your fingers in a pretzel or have never played more than one note at the time on the bass, you know, we don't do this sort of thing. You're usually not asked to do that. We have a different function. But this may be a good way in this version here. So let me show you. It basically, the principle is that I play the melody on the G string and that I play the harmony with the open strings. So this song is in D and it's a 1-4-5. So D, A, and G. At some point I will need the G chord, so I have to put the melody to a different string. That's the only thing that's a little bit non-intuitive, but check it out. We're starting the melody on the A. You may have to play that down here if your bass doesn't go as high. And then back to the D. Now here gets tricky because the chord changes to G. So I'm playing the melody now on my D string. Or down here, if you can't go that high. Back to the D and A here. Repeat that. Or down here. you have it.